where someone's. So that is the reason that we have a one lock. We directly don't lock permanently. We will give some time if there are any modification to be taken, but everyone will not make able to make changes. Only certain authorized persons can able to make changes. Hard lock. This refers to the process where a clinical trial database has data cleaned. Cleaned means the data is completely validated. That means no errors, no mistakes. And all the edit permissions are revoked. That means no one will have any permission, any access. Like there is a edit access, there is a read-only access, there is only edit and review access, everything. Data in a hard lock database is considered clean, complete, and ready for the analysis, and no further data amendments are expected. The hard database locks are for the final database lock should only be applied once and shouldn't be reversed except in the exceptional circumstances, because it is only with the agreement from the sponsor and the senior management. Now, there are three different accounts are there. Read-only accounts, deactivation accounts, termination of the accounts. There are three processes. So read-only means no one can modify it. Only they can read the data. They can't enter the data. They can't change the data. They can't modify the data. So the read-only accounts provides user with view-only access to data that is previously entered into the database. A read-only user cannot change the data entered into the database because it may be allowed to run reports against the data. So deactivation of account means that we will remove their accounts. Temporary suspensions of account, because every person in the clinical data management will have an access will have an access to enter the data, to read the data, to modify the data. And this is mainly used for the interim and the soft database lock. And termination of accounts. So the termination of accounts can be reversed or the reused. So what are the procedure for the database locks? So the procedure for the database locks are, take note of, these are the tasks that needs to be completed before the database lock. So you might get a question in the interview stating that, what are the tasks that you need to complete before you do the database lock? So that means complete all the case report forms, take note of it. There are no pending queries. That means 100% resolution of the queries, and external data completed and reconciled. Okay. So now I'll explain. First, what is the process? First, we'll see that what are the process that meet the criteria for the database lock, and so we will be documenting this criteria in the form of a checklist with the list of procedures to be completed. So there will be a checklist that needs to be completed, and database lock, and the CRF pages that can be batch locked in the page by page. Now, initiation of the lock upon receipt of the lock risk. So receipt means that the data management will confirm that we can go ahead and lock the databases by having a conversation and by having a meeting with the other team members. And authorized trial members responsible will begin the process of locking the database by removing everyone's access, first thing. Then they will also look into the data, like first they will look into clean the activities. Like first they will go through all the previous points. Like for example, are there any pending case report form that they need to enter? And are there any pending queries that needs to be answered and closed? And like, did we get all the external data such as the laboratory data, other data? And did we get all the adverse event information? And did the medical coding team completed the review? Then once they confirm all these parameters done, they will start ensuring that they will start looking into the completing the checklist. So the data set may or may not require further revisions. The statisticians may highlight areas that need further cleaning on the missing data that is required. So the data changes during the process should undertake in the same as the routine data management entries. So it is a permission. However, they will remove the permission from the users who no longer require the edit. So whoever don't have any place or any more permission to update the data, then we will log the data. unlocking the data. So the hard database log are the final database. So only be applied once and no one can be making any changes. So relocking the database, once you unlocked it and if you want to relock it, so prior to relocking, so audit trail for the database will be reviewed to confirm that only the approved changes were made, and every data point that made changes, the audit trail they will make it as a documentations. So this you don't have much requirement. So now all the ECRS will be received, complete, reviewed. All the queries have been resolved, no pending queries. All external data, such as the when we send the samples to outside laboratories, we'll get all the data points and review whether these are the correct results for the right patients, or whether it has all the results or not, if there are any tests that's still missing. And final assay reconciliation must be done and completed. So they will do the assay reconciliation between the safety and the clinical trial database, clinical data management databases, and they will also do the medical coding process. And this there will be separate team for each step. So extra queries will be taken by data management, external data will be taken care by the data management, assay reconciliation will be done by pharmacovigilance and the data management, medical coding will be completed by medical coding team, and finally the science team will take the complete all the associate discrepancies that has been answered. So after everything, they will go for the final QC, and where they say that yes, the data is clean and there are no modification, there are no changes. And after that, they will also look into that. They will take the PI signature. Each clinical trial site, the PI will sign on the case report form electronically or digitally to say that yes, this data is valid, this data is as a right, this data is collected from the correct sources, and there are no errors. We reviewed all the data. Then we will go ahead and do the database log. So it's a small topic, but it contains it takes a minimum of months of the activity. Let's say that what generally we do. First, we will announce timelines. Okay, today is what November 8th. We will announce that stating that on December 8th we are planning to do the database log. We are planning to do the database log. And then if they say that yes, then they will give the timelines. By November 15th or 20th, please ensure to complete all the data points, So then after 15th or the 20th, they will log the database, not having the permissions, and then they will review the data. During this time, if anyone find that, okay, no data has not been completed, no errors, errors are there, then will allow the permission to make the changes. Then after that, from December 8th to now, December 8th to January 8th, they will take time again and try to make modification on the data. This is how the data points works. And during this time, we will so now let's say that there is one of the trial that I worked. So we used to do database lock every 6 months, because that was phase 1B study. We always focused on the safety review, like see that how many adverse events patients are experiencing, whether we are conducting the clinical trial in the right direction or not, whether we have giving the correct medication, correct amount of medications or not. So what we do after every 6 months, we log the database, do the safety review. Then after 3 reviews, that means after 1.5 years, we confirm this, we can do the final review. And after final review, once we completed this data to the regulatory authority, they gave approval to phase 2 study. From the phase 1B study phase. So how did they achieve to go from phase 1B to 2? Because they achieved based on the phase 1B study. But however, they achieved it because they were keep looking into the data points. They were spending a lot of time, because minimum 70 to 85% of the clinical trial will get stopped in the phase 1B study only. That is the reason that they have taken ample amount of time to review data in every 6 months, and in between patients were dying due to other reasons, and there were serious adverse events. But however, it went to phase 2 study. That's how database works. Any questions? Questions, please. Okay. If no questions, I think we're done with sessions, but I hope you all took notes, whatever the sessions that I was taking you all. So whenever you go for any interviews in the clinical data management, in the clinical research, what you do, focus more on your communications. You need to talk there. And second parameter is that focus more on basics such as the clinical research principles and meanings, definitions. What is an adverse event, or what is the data management? What are the responsibilities? So abbreviations, definitions, the responsibilities, and the principles, local regulations like India regulations and all. So this will give you additional 30 to 40% of portions for the interviews. So rest 50% your communication, 40% your knowledge, and the other 10% is all talk about the way you communicate yourself, like the way you are present yourself there. So prepare well, and thank you for being so patient. And this was a very short session because database lock is nothing very small portion. Okay, so that's all from my end, guys. Thank you so much. Have a nice rest of the day.